Today, I have a box, and I'm having to push you a little further away because of how big this box is. This is a figure that I have been so excited for because of a few reasons, but the first of which is because I am a really big Demon Slayer fan. You probably know. I have the big Nezuko in my collection. I also have a bunch of, pops. I have a bunch of figures, everything like that. I've never really gotten like a really quality made figure. Like it's usually prize figures, Nindroids, whatever. Haven't really got that really good figure. And today we are going to be unboxing this Mitsuri freeing figure here. And the other reason I'm excited for this is because freeing usually, like their main thing they put out is the freeing bunnies. You'll see a few of them up here. They're all being blocked right now. I think you can see a few back up here. And most of them are all the bunnies. That's what their bread and butter is. But I did get one, and this was Hatsune Miku, the quarter scale figure of her, the V3 version. I got that last year, and I was pleased with it. I wasn't blown away by it, but I was pleased with it. And so I'm excited to have another character that it's not a bunny outfit, it's their actual outfit from the show. I'm excited to see how they can do this. I have high hopes for it. I think this could very easily be a contender for Anime Figure of the Year, and it's only February. So high hopes. Let's go ahead and get her out of the box here. Like I said, I'm having to push you a little further away, so I will do some close-ups, but for the most part with the unboxing thing, it might be a little bit further away, so details might be a little bit hard, but bear with me. I'm going to try to make it look as nice as possible. So I've actually had this figure pre-ordered for months. I pre-ordered this back in the summer last year, and normally figures will be, a couple months, maybe like 4 or 5 at the most. Like for instance, like the Licorice Recoil bunnies that got announced by Freeing, they got announced in like October. They're supposed to be released next month, so that's about 6 months, which is about right. This, it feels like it's been like 8 or 9 since it was announced till now. I'm not sure exactly when it was announced because I didn't pre-order it immediately. I pre-ordered it a little bit later, but it feels like it's been forever, and it's been delayed about 3 or 4 times. So I think it was originally supposed to release in November, and now it's February. It technically released in January, but it was like the very end of January is whenever it released. But it's finally here. I'm happy about that. I also got it from Amiyami, which is shipping from Japan. So a bit more expensive, but I got it a little bit quicker than I would otherwise. A lot of places had this. This is kind of a wide release thing, so you can probably find it somewhere if it's not already sold out. But I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up if you find it in stock because they also made a Tengen and a Rengoku, and both of those have gone up in price. You can find them still on occasion, but they're not exactly easy to find either. So if you find one, you really want it, don't skip out on it. I mean, unless it sucks, which we'll find out here momentarily. So we're gonna open it this way so I can try to keep some of it in frame here for you. This is a massive box. Like it is bigger than pretty much any box that I have gotten for a figure anyway. There we go. Okay, so it looks like there is 2 parts to it. There is the figure, and then her sword is underneath. So what we'll do is we will look at the figure itself, then we'll put the sword on second. So whenever I saw this, I will say this is just something that I saw originally, and it is one of my concerns before I unboxed it. And then what I'm gonna kind of judge it on how well it looks as a whole. But I thought the face looked a little bit odd. Not awful, because Mitsuri has a very animated face to begin with, but I didn't think it was perfect. But Freeing does that quite a lot. The like images online will be kind of and then when you get it, it actually looks pretty good. That's kind of what I'm thinking will happen with Anna from Dangers of My Heart. The Freeing bunny, I'll put up a picture right here real quick. The bunny that we're getting for that, I think looks quite bad, to be honest, but I'm holding out hope that the actual figure of that will look pretty good. Now, back to Mitsuri here. Let's look at the base first, because I am pretty stingy on bases. I want bases to look good, and this is a nice looking base. It is this like kind of a matte black. I like that. Whenever they do like the glossy or kind of a, kind of a clear looking black, you can end up seeing all of these underneath. And I think that looks quite bad, so I like this. I think this looks more professional, as well as this big, huge peg there. That's impressive, actually. But I guess it's a heavy figure, so it needs to be kind of bulky. Now to get all of the packaging off of her here, I'm trying to get this off in a way that I'm not just ripping it off, but this knife, I've had it for a while, and it's starting to dull, but I don't really want to part with it. Okay, so getting her out of here, this is a hefty figure. Like, man, there's some weight to that. I don't know how much. I feel like that's wrong to say, because, like, her whole thing is that she eats a lot, so I feel like that's mean to say. But this is a nice looking figure. It's a really nice looking figure. So let's go ahead and get all of the packaging off of here, and let's get her on the base here. So this is quarter scale, so it should be in scale with like the bunnies and everything. But man, it's nice. It's nice. And we haven't even put the sword on her yet. This is pretty much exactly what I was hoping for with this figure. Let me go ahead and get the sword on her, then we'll talk about her more, and I'll show you some close-ups while we do. All right, so the sword is in this separate little box underneath here. Let me go ahead and set this box off here. Okay, so Mitsuri, if you are not a huge Demon Slayer fan, I would imagine most of you are, but if you're not, Mitsuri has a sword that is a bit different than most, and it is kind of like a ribbon to where it can move. It's not just stuck in one position, and that is shown off here. This is really neat. I love the colors of it here. You can see there. That's hard to show, but there you go. And the detail on the sword looks really good. I actually will show you here that I actually make those. I make the sword guard thing. So it's really cool to have an actual like figure version of that. If you want to check that out, my Etsy, I'll link that down in the description. I make that and Rengoku. If you want to buy one, you can get you a sword guard thing. Okay, so I think you will put that around her like this, slide the handle in like that, and then this will come up, and there is a little hole in her back robe here, and you just stick the sword down into there, and then there is another thing here that sticks somewhere. Let's look at the instructions. Then we can figure out exactly where it goes. It goes in her knee. There we go. Yeah, the instructions came in handy for once. A few things I will mention that I am very happy with how it turned out. First off, on the Hatsune Miku that I unboxed before, one thing that I was kind of critical on is that I thought the design work on it, to where it had like the little on her sleeves, there was like writing on it and everything. While it wasn't bad, and for 99% of it, it was, solid and, not smudged or anything, there was a few smudges in all of that. And for the price, I don't feel like having smudges in that is really, that's very unfortunate, and it made me not as happy with my purchase. While there isn't as much writing on this, and I will have to show you in a close-up because it's almost impossible to do that, but on the back of her outfit here, it has the destroy logo, or the kanji, written on the back. And that is about as crisp as a design as I have ever seen. And considering that is not a flat surface that is, molded with the shirt, it's very impressive. It's something on the back. It didn't need to be that crisp, and you could have easily hidden that with this robe, but they didn't. They made the robe flowy, that added to the character, and you can see that, and it looks really, really nice. Also, as I mentioned, I was kind of worried about the face because in some of the images, I thought the face looked a little bit, the proportions didn't look quite right. I thought her eyes and her mouth were really big and it kind of looked goofy. I think the way that this looks, though, looks amazing. The eyes are very pretty. They're very crisp. The lines on them and everything looks really good. They're pretty good about that freeing, though, so I really wasn't worried that they would mess that up, but it looks really good. It looks just like she does in the anime. I do like the attention to detail on her mouth. Anime figures sometimes, whenever they have an open mouth and then they have like trying to look inside the mouth to see like the tongue and everything, it can sometimes look a little goofy and not that well done. This looks really nice. You can see not only her teeth and her tongue, but the back of her mouth is actually a different color than the tongue is. Just small attention to detail that really makes that figure stand out and look really nice. Now, one thing I do want to point out, because obviously Mitsuri is kind of a, ecchi character with having her chest wide open all the time, but I will compliment them, and maybe this is something bad on it if you think it is, but I think it's a great thing because this is, you know, it's an action figure pose type thing. I don't really consider this to be like an ecchi thing, like the bunnies. With the bunnies, yeah, I want you to go all out on the ecchi because that's basically what it's for. With this, though, I don't want you to go all out with the ecchi and everything, and I think they did a good job of that because you can't really like see into her dress. You can just see like the edge of it, and that's really all I needed. I didn't need to see like a bunch of like under boob and everything like that. I mean, it's there. It's there. Don't trust me. You're getting plenty, but you don't need like it to go around to the back or anything. It's done respectfully, even though like it's still there. And same thing with like her thighs here. Whenever I was trying to look at the destroy thing, I was like, oh, I'm gonna show you upper skirt. You can't. There's nothing under there. It's the skirt forms to her legs pretty well. Now that is mostly due to her thighs being the size of my head, but still, they are, it's done respectfully. We're not flashing her panties at you. So I like it. I'm very happy with that, that it's kind of respectful, but also it doesn't do it in a way that would take away from what Mitsuri is about. Now, speaking of her thighs and her legs here, this looks amazing. These look, this leggings here, stockings, whatever they would be, they look really nice. And her shoes here look really pretty. The work around this pink ribbon here to hold her sandal on is just really detailed, and I love that a lot. And obviously I have to comment on this sword. This sword looks beautiful, and the way that it is very, it's just a hidden way to put it into her knee here, because if you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't notice there's a peg going into her knee because it's underneath, so you don't even see that little peg. But it keeps the sword, rigid. I'm not worried about this sword breaking or anything. The only flimsy part is right here on the end, but it's kind of hidden here between this part of the sword and then the rest of her body here, so I'm not really worried about that. But overall, I think it looks really nice, the detail on that sword. Not only that, but the sword handle looks really pretty. And then the hilt here, or not the hilt, the sleeve there looks really nice as well. It sticks all the way back here, but it looks nice, and I like that they did that. I'm going to real quick just give you some rapid fire things that I like. Maybe not the most standout thing, but just a few things that I like. I like the detail on the belt. I like the detail on the buttons. I think her fingernails, that's one thing that I look at with anime figures, like fingernails and toenails. You don't think about it, but if it's done wrong, it really can distract from a figure. They're done very well on this one. They have given her little pink fingernails. Looks very pretty. Her hair, I don't love it. Like, it's not as good as the figure from Dragon Maid, Lukoa. I think that bunny figure is one of the best hair design that I have seen. But I think for Mitsuri here, it looks very nice. It's not as smooth of a transition. It's not as vibrant of hair, but I think it's very well done. It doesn't distract from it. While I don't think it's perfect, it's not bad by any means. It's still like a solid 8 on the hair department. And the detail in the hair mold, I think, is very well done. You can see the braids. You can see the hair kind of flowing here. Looks very nice. Overall, I'm very happy with this figure. And as I mentioned earlier, there is actually 2 more of the Hashira already out, Tengen and Rengoku. I think Tengen looks really good. I've always wanted to get Tengen, and I just haven't found him for a decent price. Unfortunately, I don't think Rengoku looks that good. They did pose of him where he's got the blood on his face and everything, which is cool, but I think if you were going to put like all the Hashira in a line, assuming we eventually get all of them, I kind of doubt it, but assuming we eventually did, it would look really off if Rengoku is the only one that's got like blood on his face and all the rest of them are in just like a cool pose like this. One thing that I will point out, and this might be a nitpick, but it's something that I think needs to be pointed out. While she is this expensive figure, and most of the time whenever it's an expensive figure, I'm more lenient on this. But I think it's something that, you shouldn't have this figure in where a kid or a pet could knock into it and knock it over or put any stress on it. But I think you should note that, like, for example, she's only on 1 foot here. She is standing on 1 foot, has the other foot in the air here. And if I kind of shake this little table here, I'm going to stop shaking it here in a minute. You can see she's still kind of rocking. And this figure is only on 1 peg, and as you can see there, I'm going to hold the table steady and I'll rock the figure. It's kind of wiggly. Not awful, not like the Licorice Recoil figures that I unboxed. But it's a little bit, and it's kind of concerning. I don't think it's awful, but I think it's a little concerning. But like I said, not a figure you should have anywhere to where kids or animals could knock into it. I'm more critical on that whenever it's a cheaper figure, but with an expensive figure like this, you should just be gentle with it no matter what. But overall, I'm impressed. I am very impressed. I didn't expect it to be this good. I thought it would be good, but I didn't think it'd be this good. This is amazing. I don't want to give it a 10 because 10s are like flawless. And while I think this is very, very close to being flawless, I'm going to give it like a 9.75. I want to hold that 10 for a figure that is absolutely perfect. Goes above and beyond. And it's close. It's very close, but it's not quite there. But 9.75, I think I've only given that out like 1 other time. So it's something that you're not going to see that often. But it's really nice. It's really nice. Last year I gave my anime figure, it's technically not a figure, but my anime purchase of the year to Nezuko the Big Plushie. There's a good chance Demon Slayer takes this 2 years in a row with this figure because this is nice. Very impressed. If you are interested in purchasing it, like I said, I bought it from AmiAmi. I don't know if it's in stock at AmiAmi. You can go check, but because I'm going to put this out a week after I record this, I don't know. This type of figure sells out very quickly, so if it is just now getting in stock, then there's a good chance a week from now it's not. So just go ahead and check. There'll be a link down in the description for AmiAmi. There's also a link down in the description to Entertainment Earth. I don't know if they have it in stock. Usually they sell out of things like this a little bit quicker. A few others you can go check out. Big Bad Toy Store, I know sometimes has these. I know they had Rengoku. I don't think they do anymore. Also, I think Amazon was selling this. So if you just are like, I don't care where I get it from, Amazon had this in stock like a few months ago. I don't know if they still do. I would assume they do. Just buy it from one of the retailers that is like official. Don't buy it from like, you know, some random one. And don't buy it for like, if it's saying it's $200, it's probably not real. But, you know, just watch what you're doing on Amazon. But it was available on Amazon, the official one, at some point. But anyway, what do you think? Do you like this figure? Is this kind of your type figure? Do you like it better than the bunnies? Do you like the bunnies better than this? Let me know. And really, I wanted this because Demon Slayer doesn't make a lot of like high quality figures. They have a lot of like these scale figures that I don't really think are that good, if I'm being honest. So I was very happy to pick up this figure, and I'm happy. I'm looking forward to maybe getting like a Shinobu. I think a Shinobu where it had like all of the butterflies going could look really nice, and a Muichiro with like smoke and like the steam coming off of him. Oh, that could look really cool. Looking forward to both of them if they make them. Hopefully they do. A Guillaume that's like this tall. His box would be huge. But anyway, we'll see them in the future. If they do come out, we'll see. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And see you guys next time. Bye.